Oh, who is that? Oh, really? You ain't never do that. What's going on, Gecko fam? Today we're gonna discuss the top 2 geckos in the reptile hobby. Leopard geckos versus crested geckos. Which is the better pet for you? Okay guys, so as you can see, I've been testing out some new lighting around here. So I'm doing a lot of these little short comparison videos just to get our name out there, number one, but also to test up this new setup. We have different lights going on in the background, and I want to get really comfortable with all the different things that I can do with this filming setup. So thank you for coming on this journey with us. Now, the reason I'm comparing leopard geckos, look at that. No, you can't breed each other. This is actually female, this is a male. This is Magma, our tangerine leopard gecko. This is Diamond, our soft scale, phantom, pinstripe, tiger, Dalmatian, cream. So typically there's 2 kinds of people in the reptile gecko hobby. There are the kinds that like the tropical New Caledonian species like crested geckos, gargoyle geckos, the whole Rhacodactylus, Leachianus. And then there's people that like the more desert species. So we're gonna compare the 2 today and see which one you like more. And that's the key. You have to choose one that you like more, and you're gonna have to leave it in the comments below. So we have 3 main categories that we're gonna go over in our discussion comparison of crested geckos versus leopard geckos. Topic number 1, food. Leopard geckos only need to eat on a weekly basis, and they eat live prey. So you could feed them mealworms once a week, or you could drop crickets in their tank and let the crickets run around once or twice a week, or you could do duvia roaches and feed them off tongs. They are predators, and that is one thing that I really like about the leopard gecko. They are hunters. They have these little claws that they use to climb over rocks and slash their prey open with. Just kidding, they don't do that. Compared to crested geckos, which eat basically a fruit-based diet. This one's getting ready to jump, look at that. Which is another cool factor of theirs, which you have to take into consideration. But crested geckos are gonna eat an all fruit-based diet, which is basically like a powdered supplement, similar to like protein shakes and protein powders, how those are made. So it's really easy, except crested geckos, for the most part, they're gonna need their food refilled at minimum once every 3 to 4 days. Now, I've stretched that in some cases when I'm on vacation or something to 5 to 6 days, and that's okay. But if you want to see your gecko grow, you're gonna need to feed them every 1 to 3 days, because that food goes bad and then they don't eat it anymore. Plus, if you have any cleanup crew in there, like isopods, mealworms, any kind of beetles, they're gonna get to the food of the crested gecko, since it's a fruit powder mix, and they're gonna eat it before the gecko can get to it as well. So something to consider: weekly feeding on a minimum basis and every 3-day feeding on a minimum basis. Topic number 2, housing. And you can kind of see behind me here, very different housing. You've seen some of our leopard gecko footage before. I thought this one just dropped something out of his mouth. It's funny. Leopard geckos are kept in a rack system. If you don't have a warm room to keep them in, you do need some heat tape that will keep a portion of their cage between 85 to 90 degrees on the bottom of the plastic tub so that they can digest. You could also set them up in a 10 or 20 gallon tank in a semi-desert or like semi-arid kind of environment with like a soil sand mixture. They don't need UVB light. They only need a little bit of heat. 85 to 90 degrees, and these guys can digest their food just fine. Whereas crested geckos are a little bit simpler. You can just house them in a tub like this behind me here, cut a couple holes in it, hot glue some mosquito mesh over it so that they can have some fresh oxygen, put some Pro Coco in the bottom, a couple things for them to climb on, and they're pretty good. They don't need heat and they don't need UVB. So their lighting and housing requirements are a little bit more minimalistic than the leopard gecko, yet both of them are pretty simple animals. And the last category we're gonna go over for today, because we want to save some topics for future videos, right, is handling. Another reason why they're so popular in the hobby, they are great at handling. Leopard geckos I can put on my head, but there's a good chance they're gonna fall off because they don't have adhesive pads on the bottom of their feet to like climb up walls and stuff. Whereas crested geckos, you can see, they could climb up vertical surfaces, no problem, super easy. There's a good shot of why they're called crested geckos. They have these little crests behind their ears. She is definitely gonna jump. And they have these beautiful, beautiful eyelashes that just make them look so extravagant. No, don't jump. Leopard geckos are also really cool. They have the ability to close their eyes, which is where their scientific name comes from. eublepharis, which means eyelid gecko. And to me, they're a little bit more dinosaur looking and prehistoric and predatory looking than the crested gecko. So that's why I've always gravitated to leopard geckos, but crested geckos are like #1 and #2 in the hobby. They're really, really cool as well. And I'll be getting more and more into crested geckos as time goes on. Now, little side note about handling that I like to explain to kids and stuff because, you know, sometimes kids are afraid to hold animals. Leopard geckos have these little tiny claws that you barely feel when they're on your skin. Now, I have sensitive skin. I struggled with a lot of acne when I was younger. I have to use a special kind of soap even now. So my skin is a little bit sensitive, so take that for what it is. But I don't trip out, my skin doesn't trip out on leopard gecko claws. On crested gecko claws, I don't know if you could call it claws, but they do have little claws that kind of dig into your skin to hold on, like this one is doing right now. After I'm done handling crested geckos, sometimes I'll have like little red irritation bumps on my hand. As an adult, I understand that there's nothing to be afraid of, but sometimes kids, for leopard geckos or crested geckos, they're a little freaked out about the sharpness or that little feeling initially. But I think you really get used to it, and babies, you don't feel it at all for crested gecko babies. It's just a matter of experience at that point. Okay, I really hope this crested gecko doesn't jump because they love to jump. I'll just catch her like that if she does. What did you think about this video? I know it was short, hopefully a little bit sweet, but I want to do a lot more videos like this. And so I'm trying to come up with ways in my house where I could set up the camera footage really easily and film a video. Because that's one of the main things to filming a video is time to film plus time to edit plus time to promote. So all of that has to be taken into consideration in the mix of caring for 500 or more animals at our house right here. So thank you guys for sticking around in this video. Please drop some more comments for videos below that I could do in the future. Check out our last 2 videos, or last 3 videos. I think you're really gonna like it. It has the new style filming. It has some new updates that's going on with us and some ways that you can participate in our YouTube channel. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, have a geeky gecko great day. Peace.